Guys, Sam, Chi-Tac 2 here. Alright, I'm here with my Remington 870 20 gauge shotgun. It is not the Magnum nor the Express, simply 2 3/4 and 3-inch shells, okay? So what I'm going to be doing today is a detailed how-to of field stripping the weapon and then putting it back together. I'm also going to do the action disassembly with the trigger assembly. Okay, to begin field stripping, then you go into further disassembly. Basic field strip is you open the slide all the way. I shoot left-handed, so I'm handling it weird. Okay, you open the slide by depressing slide release lever. Open it all the way. Okay, you come up here to the mag cap, unscrew it, take that off. Then you close your slide to halfway. The barrel slides right out. Then, up in here, you raise the floor plate. Here, I'll slide this back. Raise the floor plate. You see your feed pusher thingy, the orange cap that feeds your shells. And this little, here, let me get something to point. This little curved piece of metal right there at the end of the screwdriver is a shell inhibitor type thing that keeps the shells from feeding. You don't want to get a double feed, so that's what they're for. There's one on each side. And to remove the action, you reach up in here and depress it away from the center of the weapon against the inside of the receiver. Okay? See, it starts to slide out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring my slide all the way out off the mag tube. There's your receiver, mag tube, and your stock.
What is this thing doing
then
over here?
You have your bolt carrier, flat end facing forward, and your bolt itself. You have your firing pin hole, your extractor / ejector here, which works great in these weapons, by the way, where your hammer strikes, and the firing pin itself right in there. Okay, so you got it disassembled. You got your bolt carrier, slide arms, mag cap, barrel assembly, magazine tube, receiver, stock, and trigger assembly. Now, remove the trigger assembly. You're going to need hammer and a pin. I'm using a nail. Also, I'm going to be using this leather glove to protect my weapon. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay it across this hole here in the pool table so that there's a little bit of air space between the ground and the pin. Now, you see these two pins. That's what's holding the trigger assembly in. This one goes out that way. I'm going to flip the weapon over, and this one's going to come out that way. So, I'm going to place my push pin right on top of that pin and start to tap it out. Once it's gotten tamped, I'm going to continue to tap it right on out. See? So the pool thing got in the way, so I'm going to put it up here. Stick that there.
And then when it falls to the pool table,
tap it right on out. See? Here's your first pin. Forward pin. Do the same thing, opposite side. Just tap it right on out. There's your rear pin. Rear pin is thicker than the forward pin, if you'll notice. So, now what I'm going to do, just going to pull the trigger assembly out. And here's trigger assembly. Here you have your receiver, magazine tube, and your shell holders. So this is your trigger assembly for Remington 870. Got your floor plate, got your safety, and trigger. So, the way this works, when you cock the weapon, this slides back and this fits around the hammer perfectly. See? So what happens, bolt carrier comes around the hammer and pushes it all the way back into the rear position. And what happens then is the hammer will lock once, it'll click once, and then totally lock back. It is now ready to fire. Then I would take the weapon off safety, as such, pull the trigger, watch closely. Hammer will fly forward, strike that button, like so. That will send the firing pin forward, like so, and hit the primer on the shell, igniting the powder and propelling the projectile down the barrel. So, I'm going to cock the weapon.
You said cock.
Then Gonna take the trigger assembly, and this is a pain with this individual gun because it's relatively new and tolerance is still real tight.
That's
I'm
what she
gonna
said.
drop it back into the what's it called, the receiver. So get the feet, get the oh yeah. See, sometimes the when you're reassembling this weapon, sometimes the tube which the pins go through like to get a little funky, and they too will move. So you got to make sure they're equal on each side so it'll fit in. So make sure it's equal. Make sure everything is going in the weapon that should be. Put the gun back together if you're any kind of good. Then make sure it goes all the way in. I'm going to use my hammer to tap this one in a little bit. Cushion it with gloves so I don't damage my weapon. Okay. That actually sent it a little too far, so I'm going to reach inside. It looks level enough for me to tap a pin into. I'm going to take my rear pin, drop it in the hole, and tap it back in. Not quite flush. Now it's flush. Now, turn it over, drop in my forward pin, and tap it back in. Now it's flush again. Okay. So I could fire the weapon. See the hammer there in the chamber? Now I can reach inside the weapon, and it's cocked, ready to fire again. So, field reassembly after field stripping. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take the bolt, put it on top of the bolt carrier, like so. Now it should be treated as one object. Take this component, wrap the bolt assembly onto the slide arms on the fore end of the slide. Slide the fore end over the mag tube and down in the receiver. At this point you have to reach inside. Remember those little shell release thingies that are up in here? Yeah, those things, they come into play. You depress them, then slide the bolt back in. But no, what you got to do now is, this takes some force, you got to depress your slide lever and put that sucker back in its place. So then I'm going to open it halfway and reattach my barrel. Open it. Mag cap on. Ready to shoot. Shy Tac 2 on a Remington 870. Peace.